One time we left the front door open, and the dude comes in with his dog, and the dog starts like running
Oh,
around
that's
in here.
perfect.
Yeah, we're in the podcast.
We got something going on here.
Yeah, and I think it was the Papa's podcast, was it? No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't when we had everybody
It
here.
was it was one of the shows we had like a few people in. I couldn't remember, but all of a
I
sudden,
don't think it was our Papa's one.
no, I don't. It wasn't. And then all of a sudden, this guy comes in with his dog, and the whole, oh my god, I didn't realize you were podcasting. I'm like, you didn't notice all the equipment and everyone wearing headphones.
Yeah,
You just figured you'd just walk in and say, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
But anyway, the guy was cool, and we went with it and put it on, and we grabbed the dog collar from the back and put it on his dog and sent him on his way. And
Advertising 101.
yeah, that was it. So
It's good.
it was cool. So you just flew in here.
Yep. I went home for the
You
weekend.
literally just landed at FLL and drove right here.
I drove right here, not before Dunkin' Donuts.
Right there you
So,
go. You got your Dunkin'.
I got my Dunkin', got you some munchkins.
You got me munchkins. I don't know how to take that, but it's cool.
You're vertically challenged.
I am vertically challenged. It's a well-known fact in all of South Florida that Dennis Friel is a vertically challenged individual. But Anthony, thank you so much for doing that and coming in at last minute like that. I know I was talking to Karl last night. I'm like, let's come up with something cool for Monday, and he didn't even hesitate. So
That worked
Yeah.
out great.
yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Before we get rolling, I want to welcome Anthony Mendillo to the Connected by Water podcast. Right?
K&M Sport Fishing.
Yep.
K&M
Isla
Sport Fishing.
Mujeres.
Isla Mujeres. We are powered by Joey Cardi Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and fueled by our very good friends at Papa's Pilar Rum. Once again, I'd like to also add that we welcome. This is the second episode that we're kind of touting about bringing in Finor as the official sunglasses of the Connected by Water podcast.
Great product.
And the W sauce, which we had. Let me tell you something about the W sauce, though, real quick. We had we did our Miami Dolphins episode, the previous episode, and Yanni. Oh yeah, and Go Fins 8-3. But Jim had brought in this blackfin fish dip, and it was great. We dipped it in that. Incredible. Yeah, it took it over the top. So very, very proud to have the W sauce.
I want to point out that the boat on the Finor box
Yes.
is the 1969 42 Merit, known today as Picaflor.
Come on.
Which is the boat that I took this spring
Really?
to Isla Mujeres and tied up next to Anthony. It's John Richardson from Texas's boat, and his son Wade and I did a big job on that boat, refitting it with the help of the folks at Merritt's. And
Nice.
anyway, that's a picture that Jessica Hadal Richardson, Wade's wife, took, and they put it on their package. So that's pretty cool.
It's a
Local
pretty cool,
Pompano
interesting
boat.
fact. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, Pompano boat right on there.
If you're watching on YouTube, you can see that I just held it up on the camera. But if you're listening, subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch it. Yeah, and you can see that we're holding up there. Or better yet, go out and buy yourself a pair of Finor sunglasses, and you can have your own personal box with the Picaflor on
With
there.
the Picaflor on there.
Right.
That's
There
right.
you go.
And let's roll through here and talk about our do-gooder this week. Okay.
Great selection.
Because for those of you that don't know, Corey Redwine, generally speaking, texted me and said this is our do-gooder of the week, which is probably why we get so many do-gooders from Central Florida and the Merritt Island area and Indian River Lagoon. But this week we have a good friend of ours being nominated. And when she texted me this one, I said, oh yeah, that's absolutely perfect.
No brainer.
So this week's Starbright winner works for IGFA, and he's a top-notch fisherman, and I think that is really selling it short because he's an incredible angler and all-around waterman. And we're definitely speaking about Adrian Gray.
And since we're in an art studio, he's also an incredible artist.
You just basically took the words right out of my mouth too, and I said, and all those things are great, but the one thing that he is above and beyond is an incredible photographer, incredible painter, incredible designer. Super talented, super humble guy. Like
His
one of those
talent
flies
knows no
under the
bounds.
radar, but
His
his talent knows no bounds.
He's
Yeah.
incredible. I mean, that guy, he can do so much, and he's humble, and he's sweet, and he loves what he does, and he's a great steward of not only our sport, but doing the right thing on the water.
Absolutely. So that is definitely an if you know kind of situation with Adrian and within the industry. he's very well known outside the industry.
sure.
He prefers to keep it on the down low, I think. But Adrian just does great things for the environment.
Yeah.
He's just always been a great steward for as long as I've known him, and I've known him a very long time. He's one of
Yeah.
my closest friends, and he's just does, he's always been a top-notch and respectful steward of keeping things clean and keeping things right when it comes to conservation. So congratulations, Adrian. You get the Starbright Bucket of Fun, which is the Reggae Sponge and the Citrus Cleaner, and this is like whack-a-mole, right?
Whack-a-mole.
Yes, the Citrus Cleaner, salt off, and the boat wash, and all the fun stuff, as if you probably don't have it all already, because I think he probably does, because he uses it all the time. These environmentally yet very effective products. That Starbright has cracked the code of coming up with the hybrid solution of being able to do both.
They sure have.
So congratulations, Adrian, and we love you to death. We do. So on to business, my friends. Anthony.
Yes, sir.
Karl here tells me that you are a pioneer of the Isla Mujeres. You and your family are pioneers of Isla Mujeres, and about 7 miles off the coast of Cancun. Is
7
this
miles
magical?
long.
7 miles long.
The island is
7 miles long, 3 miles.
3 miles
off the
from
coast.
Cancun.
3 miles from Cancun. All right,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'll just
yeah,
count.
yeah, yeah,
It's all right.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm
All right,
not
so I
gonna-
got it
We're not
backwards.
driving tonight.
I got it backwards. Cheers. I think we need to open up a munchkin for that one.
That
Yeah,
might be
Right.
that calls
Right.
for a munchkin.
Right. So, but you guys discovered this glorious land of sailfish and massive,
Anthony's responsible for the wintertime fishery there.
Okay, so that's
Yeah.
people aren't listening and tuning in to hear me explain the whole thing.
Sure.
So they are for you though.
So that wintertime thing was sort of a little bit of an accident. I think I was just there at the right time. I had gotten married. We put a boat there. There hadn't been a boat there, and at that time of the year, really looking like we would look. And for the first couple of years, we didn't get them. I mean, we didn't catch them. We were catching king mackerels, and
Well, you were fishing on home grounds.
yeah, we were fishing on
And then you'd
home
reach out.
grounds, and it just didn't all jive.
I remember the phone call.
Oh yeah,
And he
everybody.
calls up and he says, "Karl, you won't believe it." He goes, "It was a cloud of freaking sailfish on the downsea
Really?
tack." And I'm like, "What do you
Beyond
mean?"
Wolfpack,
and he goes, "Hundreds." And I'm like,
hundreds, hundreds, catching them,
Yeah.
catching 50 with one rod
I'll never
in a
forget-
circle.
I will never forget that call.
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh no, it was nuts. When we got rolling, so we were mackerel fishing, and we caught 5 for 4, right? So not 4 for 5, but 5 for 4 sails
Mhm.
on my king gear, which was one we tangled up. So we caught 2 on one line. We caught the rest, and the next little bit, it was like, okay, there's some fish around. This is pretty good. This is cool. So we started looking a little bit, and oh my goodness, yeah. We got on them. I called John Bayless, Chip Schaefer. I called Karl. I called every single person that would answer their telephone.
Like I found them.
Like I found them. Like I found them. Like you never even dreamt. This was, double digits is a big day. And it still is, in my opinion. If you catch 10 sails,
That's a great day.
it's a great day.
Come on.
But this was, went out and caught 60. Like, it's crazy. Anyway, it was, and from that point, a couple of the guys, Mike Brady, Chip Schaefer, they came down straight away on, I remember talking to Chip about it, and he was asking me all the right questions, and I'm thinking back at it now and how it all went down. And
What questions is he asking?
well, questions about how far did you go? What color was the water? How deep were you? Did it was there bait? Were they staying? Did you go back and find them there the same day? The next day, and it was everything you wanted, and we got them for 2 months.
Wow.
We were rim racking them, and that was the beginning of it. And then after that, that was a handful of boats understood what was going on, and then we started doing this sailfish underwater, sailfish dive and all that. That was on accident. We'd caught so many that I realized my guests were fishing for me, not for, I'm jacked up, and they were done. I mean, they caught 50.
Right.
And they couldn't even crank them in anymore.
Yeah, you can't,
They're jumping all over the place,
Yeah.
and I'm flipping out and wheeling the boat around, and they are like, they're not even happy.
Yeah, it sounds like you're catching them like mahi schools.
You have to understand, Anthony gets a little excited at times, and the coffee never ends. So when Anthony says he's jacked up, Anthony's ready to roll.
No, ready.
So you're like Mr. Ball of Energy on the boat.
Ready to roll.
Yeah. Okay.
Nonstop.
So
this is actually this is the perfect storm for you.
Oh yeah, perfect storm. So I said, because we'd been swimming with whale sharks and all that and doing that in the springtime, I said to the folks, I said, well, you want to try swimming with them? It was flat calm, and they were everywhere. Big balls of them, hundreds of them. I said, I mean, this lady was out of her clothes in a bikini, whoom, right in the water.
That's when Pat Ford showed up?
After. Pat came the next year
Gotcha.
after or so.
Okay.
And
I know he goes down there. He loves
for the
going
bikini.
down for the bikini. But he loves going down and taking pictures down at Isla.
That was the whole shebang. We put it out there. Guy came down the same year, the year before Guy. I think we were published in Nat Geo Society, not TV, Society, the real deal.
Right.
And then we did the BBC Planet Earth, which we're reshooting. Right now we're reshooting for next year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool.
So how'd you link up with them?
BBC, that's a cool story. That's a really fun story. You remember Rick Rosenthal?
Absolutely.
He's from New Jersey.
Yeah, he's
right?
Cameron. Yeah.
Anyway, Rick was down there.
You're from Rhode Island, right?
I'm from Rhode Island.
Oh, okay. You know what's cool? Sorry, before you get into the whole BBC thing, we'll put a marker right there. Don't forget about that. But I'm not touting this. I just think it's cool. So I'm an artist for the United States Mint.
Oh, okay.
I came out with my first coin last year, which is the Rhode Island dollar coin.
Come on.
The Nathaniel Harrishoff's, the
sloop.
Yeah, the sloop. It was all about American innovations, and and he was the American innovator that they honor for Rhode Island and everything. So we're looking at that.
Cool.
We just found out how we're connected by water right there.
Yeah, that is very cool.
Yeah, nice. So BBC, go ahead.
So Rick was down there they were trying to do a grouper shoot, and it wasn't going his way. He was with another crew. They didn't have any numbers. They had no spots. I'm like, how are you going to do this without any stuff? Anyway, it didn't work out. I gave him some numbers, and I got talking to Rick, and I don't remember how I had met Rick earlier, but somehow we were acquaintances. Anyway, I said to him, this is what I got and this is before, having a cell phone to go, show pictures and stuff. Right. And I said, I got 200 fish in a bait ball, and we can go from spot to spot all day until you can't swim anymore. Mm-hmm. You're booked. Done. He went home. I said, I had no idea how the film thing worked. I didn't really understand, when somebody said they wanted 3 minutes of footage or 7 minutes of footage, what that meant. I can tell you 7 minutes equals about 30 days.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah. That's a job.
Right.
That's a job. That's a back-breaking job. And that's what they wanted. It was 7 minutes. He booked 30 days, sight unseen. Check was sent.
Wow.
Done. Booked the boat for the whole time.
Yeah.
And he put us absolutely on the map as far as our sport fishing business is one thing, and then our ecotourism and photography business is a whole nother. I mean, we've done work with
it's funny. I even think of that.
We've done business with
I just think of it as just going down there and going fishing with you. No. You know what I mean? The ecotourism and the photography. I don't even think of that. Yeah, that's a good point.
And it's a great business. It's a safe business. There's no environmental damage per se.
Because you're filming in the wild.
Yeah, you're filming in the wild. You're doing pretty uninvasive things. So it's pretty good. At the end of the day, you come home and nothing died, nothing got hurt. Mm-hmm. So it's a good gig.
Right.
And it's another gig. And as you know, in this business, I mean, you better have a few gigs. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, it sounds to me like you found something you could double up on that, and that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and what's happened is my sport fishing guests, they end up jumping in the water. A lot of times I make them jump in the water.
Right.
Because I see it going on, and even if they're not these, crazed swimmers or divers or photographers, you can learn more
Mhm.
than you've ever imagined. As you well know, you jump in the water and you see how a fish behaves for 1 second, and you're like, oh, I got this. You know,
Yeah.
I know now.
It
now
helps.
now
This
I
is
know how
inspiring
he's.
me.
It
here.
helps.
Yeah, now I know how he's. Not. I get it. You know, you can see him back there wheeling around. So it's cool. You know, it's really cool. And we've done this with big makos. We've gone now a full blown. I got 2 boats in the springtime with cages, full on shark cages, the whole thing. Which,
Is there a heavy shark presence down there?
you know, no, it depends. There are a lot of sharks up to the northwest where they're long lining them, and they've cut that out. And we don't have shark problems like I guess you have here, you know, eating sails and all that kind of
Yeah, we're in a
craziness.
little bit of a unique biosphere when it comes to that aspect of it. We have a little bit of an issue. So when we start complaining about our issue, people are like, what are you talking about? They're extinct. It's all over Discovery Channel. It's like, well, we're a little different here than the rest of the world.
Sure.
We have a problem here. But that's why I was asking.
Right.
If you have the same similar circumstance that we do,
we don't.
Those are more like Costa Rica where it's more sparse.
It's pretty sparse.
Yeah.
It's pretty rare to ever see a shark, other than obviously if we're chumming for them offshore. The mako thing, they're there mating, which we've done a lot of studies with Guy, and we've done the Southeast Nova, a bunch of tagging. I think we tagged 106 with satellite tags.
Sure.
With spot tags. So we've got the whole thing tracked, mapped, crazy, cool information.
I mean, the way you found him, and I went to Isla for I was dock partner with him for 15 years, but when we started fishing dredges, and the next thing you know, every once in a while you're going along and like, holy man, I'll be like, Lips, what the heck was it? I said, I just got cleaned out by a mako, and I mean they come up and just take the dredge right out of the water, take the whole shooting match shebang, all gone.
Mako's just gone, bang a dredge,
and like 2 days later he'd be like, I can't believe it happened to me too, and it started to happen, you know, and this was in May in the classic Isla fishery, not the new winter fishery. No, it's not new anymore. It's 20 years old.
I know.
But anyway, that's kind of how it was found. It was by mistake. You know, these things coming in pile and eating the dredges, and Lips put it together. I call him Lips, it's Anthony. But he put it together to figure out
what's your
how to
target
target him. Lips. I don't know how we got
I don't know. That's right. Wink calls everybody Lips.
Yeah. So we started fishing together with Wink.
They call clam lips.
Yeah. So, we started fishing together on the Sharia 3 and 43 Merit up.
So this is the one.
Velosta.
Hold on, this is the one you're telling me is the Roosevelt boat, right?
Yeah,
that's correct.
So this is the FDR.
So his grandson.
FDR's grandson.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So
you guys are working on FDR's like a Roosevelt boat.
Yeah, I'm the mate.
Yeah.
He's coming to relieve me because I got to go to school, right? So he's coming for college. So I got to go back to school. School. Yeah, I got to go back to school. So anyway,
trying to do the responsible thing.
So anyway, he comes along. Okay, down the dock he comes, and you had been fishing on the Cat's Meow, and he'd seen some tunas, and knew enough about what's up. Okay, get on the boat. Let's go. Here we go. First day, right? 300-pounder. Boom. He's fighting him, and I tell him, look, man, and he cranks him right up. I mean, just wheels him right through the guides. And this is, we're fishing 19 wire.
19 wire?
Yeah, 19 wire, like 20 feet of it.
Spread of eyes.
The whole shebang, right? And a gaff. No harpoon, none of that jazz. And we got to pull him up. And he cranks him right in. I mean,
so he's live.
So he's live. I said, man, Karl, if I let go of this thing, because I'm not going to break him off. We're here to take him home.
Sure.
So if I let go, make sure you backed off on this thing.
How big is it?
Like 300 pounds.
300, not
humongous.
A baby Volkswagen.
Yeah.
And he's like, I got this. Okay, no problem. And I mean, here we go. There's wire flying. I got him. Okay. Fish goes mental. I'm like pummeled. I let go. Karl, rod, everything flying out of the chair.
Whammo,
come on.
up against the coverboard.
On rod out of the boat, tight on the safety line.
Really?
Him on top of me.
You're like Sheriff Brody there, and then the bottom of the boat.
It was crazy,
right?
And wearing a little tiny back end of a Merit boat.
See, I'm thinking he's got him on the wire, and I'm going, well, I'm getting out, and I'm going to gaff him.
Right.
So I'm like halfway in the process, and all of a sudden the fish goes absolutely back crap, tail spin, and he dumps, and I'm like halfway in between
and just
getting out.
Fucking.
And I get pummeled into the transom of the boat.
First day on the job.
He's like laying on the railing.
I'm like flat like a pancake with the eyes rolled back in my head. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. I can't wait to get out of here.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to die on this boat. Oh, yeah.
So did you go to college after this?
I did.
You stayed. Was that enough to make you stay?
I went for a year and a half, and then I went fishing.
All right.
And then I went fishing. Yep.
All right, let me rewind it a little bit because we'll get up north fairly soon.
We're all over the place.
So we're I want listen. The only way
I can see that. I swear to God, like
by
it's
the way,
like
I'm
right
eating
now,
these munchkins like they're
I know, you're
freaking
gonna
filet
vibrate
mignon.
right
Yeah.
You're gonna.
I don't think there's many left.
You're gonna hover out of here.
I hope you don't like glaze because they're
No,
gone.
dude, that's good, man. Knock them back.
Nick, you want some more munchkins? Yeah. All right. Yeah, please take them away from me. So let's work south, then we'll work our way north, right? Okay. So I want to talk about Isla a little bit more. Like, what put you down there first? Like, how'd you get down there? Because you're from Rhode Island.
So I'm
how'd
from
you get
Rhode
down
Island.
to Isla?
So like he was,
you're the pioneer of this area, right?
Well,
or am I?
No, well, no.
No.
Take me through the whole. All right, then correct me if I'm wrong. Then take me through.
So my father-in-law owned and still owns one of the larger docks, a big pier, and the fuel depot.
Okay.
Back in the
Originally,
day,
the only one.
the only one.
Okay.
And he was friends.
The only one sounds like pioneer to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, good stuff.
He was
for sure.
Yeah.
And he became friends with Walter Fundren.
Okay.
And
Stuart Campbell.
Gotcha.
And that whole class, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
good class.
Good company to keep. I mean, Walter was his best friend.
Yeah.
I mean, just really, really good pals.
Yeah, nice.
And anyway, when all that began, Walter helped Enrique kind of navigate through a little bit of the sport fishing, how it's going to go.
Okay.
So they wrote some rules. They wrote some ideas on how they wanted things to be. And we still hand that same sheet to all the boats as they come to the dock.
Rules pertaining to what?
Well, like a little bit of now it's
like
considered
governmental regulation.
Well, and now a lot of them have become regulation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
at first these are gentlemen's rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of it still is rules.
I think gentlemen's rules rule over government rules anyway.
And it, as it should be. So we've always kept it that they wanted it, and everybody always wanted to keep it a dead bait trolling fishery.
Okay.
And there's always a lot of debate. Well, why don't we live bait? Why don't we do this? Well, you don't need to. And if you can hone your skills...
That doesn't take me as the type of fishery that you need to live bait.
No,
right?
and if you can
you're
hone...
not putting a kite up and down there, right?
No, if you can hone your skills to hook them dead bait trolling, well, then you can certainly hook them on a live bait.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, that's a no-brainer. So... And even on my boat, for the most part, my guests have the rods. So I let my people try to hook their own. And anyway, so those rules and all that stuff about, not backing into a bunch of a bait ball, not backing in there and pitching baits.
Right.
So we're trolling them. So we're trying to bait them. Like you would bait a school of tunas.
You're trying to come around. And,
that's right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, which is tricky. And everybody has to
it's kind of like
sort
the way you
of
do with like yellowfin, like same thing where you're just trying to like come around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And some guys are very good at it, and some guys have no patience for it, and some guys try really hard and learn how to do it.
Yep.
And that's how you should be.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next year they come back and they're better at it, and they're better at it, and then they're really good at it.
Right.
Rather than sticking their lip out and being pouty and backing in there and pitching baits all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's not very tricky.
Right. Yeah.
It's fun, but it's not very tricky.
Fun. Works for tournaments, but
I mean, some it doesn't.
In some cases, yeah. I hear you. So, I mean,
that's a little controversial. I'm sure somebody will reply to that.
I love controversial. It's fine. Listen, but that's what I was going to ask. So, like, are you one of the dead bait versus live bait, like in just overall, a dead bait guy?
I'm a dead bait guy
for 100%. All right, no matter where you're at.
Oh no, I'm not a foolish guy. I'm
Okay.
a dead
like if
bait
you're fishing off
Hey,
over here, you're
oh, yeah.
you're
Oh,
If
dead
he was
baiting
fishing
still?
out front here,
If I was fishing out here, I'd have
yeah.
2 kites and the whole
Sure,
shebang.
right, right.
Yeah,
He'd
I'd
be
like
doing
16
everything.
mates, and
Gotcha.
here we go.
Doing
Yeah.
everything.
Get it on.
The piano, the orchestra.
Yeah, of course.
It's an interesting thing, I mean, like, I spent a lot of time in Isla, many years. I don't know, 15 years, something on Briar Patch. We went down we had 3 different boats there.
Mm-hmm.
So we I tied up next to him, and you do. It is where you refine, but what really happens is your crew gets better and your anglers get better because you're getting multiple chances. And fishing with wink, that was a big thing, is teaching our anglers how to point at the clip, feed them through the rigger, do that so that you're getting the bites. And then for years the masters came down and we fished the master anglers there, and and that was always fun. It was a big week, and
it's a big. That was a big part of my business. I missed that. That was a.
I mean,
got,
I
got to meet some good people.
Great people. I was booked the week before. He was booked the week before.
And it was not even for the booking, for the clients. The people.
Yeah.
How would you ever get to meet such people?
Yeah. Anyway, but you go, I fished out of Stewart for no longer 20 some years, right? And that's all trolling. A little bit of live baiting, we would fish some greenies and stuff up there.
You get to the bend of the state, and everything changes there. Right?
Yeah, well, it becomes more effective to troll just because you've got more ground to cover, and those little bomber sharks get you, and they're eating your baits all day, and just all kind of stuff. And then down here, you got a live bait, and if you're not live baiting and flying kites, you're not going to compete.
Right.
You're just not. And so you have to go through that whole thing, and then that's like Anthony. He'll totally adapt. He'll go anywhere. He'll do whatever.
Same thing. Kings and planers, right up front. It's like you have to.
Now we're flying kites for giant tunas. I mean,
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I fish up in Cape Cod still. I was just before I got here, I was talking to my buddy up there, and he fishes out of Miami and Fort Lauderdale, and he's a big live bait guy, and he always says we're in a constant battle because I'm a dead bait guy and he's a live bait guy. But if they're biting live baits, man, you can bet your bottom dollar. That's what's happening.
Catch what they're biting on.
Of course, yeah. You don't want to be foolish.
You got to be able to adapt.
Yes.
So going
fishing.
back to the pioneer days.
So that Enrique put that place on the map.
No twist.
That is what happened there, and then everybody started coming down there, from Wink to Gary Stuve to everybody come down there.
Yeah,
that was the whole.
Wahhabi would come down there, right?
Jose came one time.
One time, that's it.
Yeah, one time.
Yeah, he came down later on and brought the CV down. Yeah, and tied up.
Oh wow, I didn't know. Just the one time.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
No, I helped him put the whole thing together. He came down with the CV.
Yeah.
And did that. Jumped in the water, shot some underwater footage, and did and put a couple nice shows together for sure.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Enrique's we can't. Enrique's an absolute.
Then elaborate on Enrique.
Well, he had Jacques Cousteau comes down,
Yeah,
and Enrique takes him out. Enrique's he's a diver, and Enrique knows this place. It was this cave where the nurse sharks were going to sleep. They called it the Cave of the Sleeping Sharks. And Cousteau comes down, sees all this stuff, and he comes and does an episode with on Jacques Cousteau's Undersea World with Enrique in the 1960s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
So Enrique had done so much, and the Texans definitely
My sister
helped him
Louise
put it
is
on the
idol,
map.
by the way, Jacques Cousteau.
It's iconic stuff. And
big picture of him in my house.
Yeah, I mean Enrique's
with him.
Yeah.
An amazing guy. I mean, he really is. He's an amazing man. He's become a very good friend.
He got that. What was it? The Rockefeller Award, the Conservation Award from the Billfish Foundation.
Yep.
Ellen gave him that.
Totally deservedly.
Yeah,
so.
no, he's a neat guy. Really cool.
Nice.
Really cool dude.
Yeah, no, I've never had the chance to meet him. I'd love to.
Well,
and
come on.
Great business
Yeah,
guy.
right.
Owns the family's done an incredible job on Isla Mujeres. So I would say being not only good stewards of the island and promoting the island and trying to make the island but also being good business people. And Anthony and his wife Keen's sister and her husband, I mean the whole family is involved in everything that's going on in their businesses there, and they're successful because they work so damn hard at it. And are talking multiple hotels, restaurants, the dock, the fuel, right? It's a nonstop. I mean, they never stop.
So you've done good.
Yeah, we've been blessed.
Nice.
We sure have.
So what kind of you mentioned? You kind of hinted to a little bit of conservation stuff here. Like, has it played a role at all down
Huge.
there? I mean, because I would have to think that obviously Mexico is looking at this as from a tourism perspective at first, but is it becoming like a source of influence from that regard?
Mexico our area of Mexico is very green,
Very.
very
Yeah?
green, very forward thinking, because there's a lot of that Contoy, Enrique's father,
Mm-hmm.
was the minister of tourism.
Yeah. Of all of Mexico.
Of all of
Okay.
Mexico. So he
For the
developed
whole country.
So he founded Cancun in 1970.
Okay.
He founded it. So his name is on placards all over the place. He also made huge, vast swaths of land, parks, untouchable. Boom, Contoy National Park.
Isla Contoy is an island just north of Isla and everything.
Yeah.
An absolute beautiful rookery.
Taking a page out of the Roosevelt book.
whole thing.
Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful
Incredible.
stuff. There's just miles. Yeah. Miles and miles of estuaries.
Yeah.
It's all national park.
Yeah, nice.
So the area's it's gotten way, way green, and with a whale shark business,
The whale shark diving is
that's
That's
huge.
That's a big deal, huh?
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
it's world class.
Now
That's a big deal.
you see them a lot down there. Then I'm assuming.
Well, in July and August, if everything goes according to plan, there can
migration
be
thing?
100, there can be 200 of them in a whack.
Come on.
Oh yeah, like in an area no bigger than this little city block. They're all nutted up together.
That's a jackpot right there when you hit that.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, wow. That would got that. Yeah.
So
that'd be something.
So that's a big deal, right? So that is open to the masses, meaning it touches more people than, say, the sport fishing business.
Sure.
The sport fishing touches many guys that have become mates, and the Isla Mujeres mates are now fishing everywhere.
I always say the sports fishing industry is the biggest little industry there is.
Right. But this whale shark thing, that's made the government, as you said, does the government take notice of it? Yeah, they've taken notice to that big time, and they're on that.
Yeah.
The conservation with the fishing, there's not as many charter boats there as you would think.
Right.
There are, but they don't really do as much damage. They don't do much damage. And some of them, they'll still kill a sailfish for a mount, which is part of the business, and it's legal.
Right.
And it's allowed.
Sure.
And that's fine. But there's a lot of release mounts now. That's taken a big turn. So,
yeah.
Either way.
No, that's good. The only reason I ask that is I'm always just so curious what other countries do, or what other steps other areas are taking. We bring up conservation at least once every show, just because it's a big topic for us.
At the end of the day, a lot of the guys, the charter guys, like any good sportsman, I mean, they're making money because they're running a charter and they're making a tip and they're all doing that. I always look at the groupers, the bottom fish catches, and we'll catch a lot of bottom fish.
Right.
And we'll hit the snappers pretty hard, but we're pretty careful about the grouper population, and a lot of the guys are. I would say many of the local guys that could put a real whammy on them understand, to take one or two here and one here, and
it lasts longer.
Not put the
Yeah.
jamming on them.
Yeah, good.
The snappers and stuff, they take it tough.
Yeah, nice.
But there's a lot of them.
Yeah,
So if I'm hearing this right, all right, you head down to Mexico, you find all these sailfish, you come into a nice little industry, and it's great, and everyone up here appreciates it, and comes down and celebrates it with you, and it's cool, but you're still running up north.
So, plus how I got there was being, you're connected by water.
Love it.
I go to see, I grew up in Rhode Island. Wink, who we both worked for, and I just had dinner with him the other night. Great friend. I go down to the dock to peddle him some lures. I ride my bicycle down there because he was tied up in East Greenwich.
Pre-college?
Oh yeah, yeah, like pre-license, pre-driver's license.
So Anthony is an entrepreneur of all kinds, and I got a couple other stories. A couple other stories I got to tell you. He's
a busy guy.
Well, Karl, this is my favorite thing, right? Meeting people on the show for the first time. This it really is.
There's a lot to it.
Yeah, this is good stuff.
So anyway, so the lure deal is he's an entrepreneur of all kinds.
So I met Wink, and I said, "Oh man, this is the kind of fishing I want to be doing." Anyhow, our paths continued to cross, and he wanted me to go fishing with him in the summertime. So he said, "Hey, come down to Mexico." And he calls and he says, "Can you deliver the boat with us?" Still in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, of course, I flipped out. I called my dad. I gotta go. Gotta do this. Anyway, Haven called my dad to say it was going to be okay, and this was, wasn't some band of gypsies.
Mr. Roosevelt.
Yeah. And, that he'd be safe, that I would be safe. So I went down and I did it. I went to 1989. I took the boat with them.
Call from a Roosevelt. Still holds a lot of weight, I would.
Oh, yeah. So that's how I got to Isla Mujeres. And from that year on, I hadn't missed a season.
Really?
Yeah.
So you've been consecutive every
year since 89.
Wow.
Well, meeting a gorgeous and smart and incredibly talented wife helped too. That kind of keeps you in the...
Tell me about that then.
That's funny. So we're walking up the road.
You set that one up. Yeah. I got to hear about it now.
Oh, God. So we're walking up the road. I'll tell it quick because it can get intolerable. We're walking up the road with Dennis Merton and Jim McGrath, Jimmy from Grand Slam, right? Anyway, we're walking up the road. Car pulls up. And this is back. Isla Mujeres had like 3 TVs, 2 bars.
Yeah.
That's it.
9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. Lights out. Game over.
Yeah.
We couldn't go. There was no place to go drink and steam around all night.
No.
Right.
No. It was all on the dock.
It was on. Yeah. That was it. That we made our own trouble.
Okay.
That was it. So anyway, and this was years after. Car pulls up. Got 3 cute girls in it. Oh man, I am hit the lottery. Anyway, perfect English. Girl driving says, "Are you Anthony?" Yeah.
Wait. They came to you and said your name?
Yeah. I am like, this is right out of a movie, man. You can't make this stuff up. And she says, "Well, where are you guys going?" And here and there. She says, "Well, I'm Enrique's daughter." My eyes got this big. I am out of here.
I'm in trouble now.
I am in trouble now,
wow.
man.
I am not getting kicked off this dock.
And this was back when, like, with him, you gave him all the money, the passports, the papers to the boat, the keys to the safe.
You own me.
You own us.
Well, he held everything for you because he had to.
Yeah, it's just
but
it's better that way.
And I'm like, and this was back when we were far away. There was no cell phone. There was no internet. I called home on the Whiskey Oscar Mike on the sideband.
Manahawkin, New Jersey.
Oh, Manahawkin.
Whiskey Oscar Mike, the towers in Manahawkin, New Jersey.
Ah, there you go.
The biggest boat was 53 feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? We all went in like 42, 43 footers.
Yeah.
45 footers. That was it.
That was the gig. You look at we looked at a 54 Bertram and we were like, that thing's a tank. How are you ever going to catch anything with that?
Sure.
It's so big. And anyway, so I like ran from this woman. I am out of here. I'm going to get.
But she said your name first.
Yeah, well, because they all know.
Usually
because
you have to pay women to do that.
I know. Well, there were only a handful of people. There weren't very many boats. There were 8 boats.
And one dock. At that time, one dock.
Yeah. There was nothing else. I mean, it was a
sand
dock
streets.
with boats.
Sand streets.
It was cool, man. So anyway, that led to sooner or later I broke down and went and talked to her. And that's how I met my wife.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Yeah, but
you.
at first I was horrified.
Sure.
I think back to that moment now.
So now there's now his daughter runs, and both daughters are involved in the business, and they have a restaurant at the top of the dock called Blue Ballyhoo, and they just do an incredible job. They're so engaged, and they're totally into it, and they've been brought up by parents who are driven. They're into it.
Sure.
And now the girls are in there, and I like this spring when I was there, many nights we just went right up to the top of the dock, took our fish, and had her take care of everything, and it's just I gotta laugh. It's just awesome. You know what I mean? It's all good and fun.
Yeah, it's a fun experience.
It's not many shows that we have someone rolling in that comes right off the plane and saying, "Here's coffee, here's donuts, let's go." It's true. That's true.
That's how he rolls.
Nothing says hello like a bundt cake.
It's nighttime.
Yeah. Oh God.
So listen, you're just there seasonally.
No, well,
or are you down there full time?
I'm there full time.
Full time, but you're still running up north.
So when I started my business, I started with one boat, and I needed a summer job.
Okay.
So I had a summer job that took me up to Gloucester, Massachusetts. So I kept that. So I kept doing that. I did that for.
So you're just doing like the September, October thing up there?
Well, I was going. There was the whale shark thing hadn't taken off.
Okay.
So I was going up there like June, July, August, September, October.
Oh, that long?
Yeah.
Okay.
And working on a sport boat and making some money, and that mattered because there wasn't enough business to keep me going. I was fishing that April, May season. And the winter hadn't kicked off, and whale sharking hadn't kicked off, and one boat sort of just mucking along. Anyhow, I did that, and that's what. And I really like going back up there. To the point now. I mean, I own a home in Canada. I got involved with the tagging program. I do a bunch of tagging for Molly Lutcavage up there.
Let me ask you a question about that, because recently up there in Nova Scotia, the tunas they left for a while.
Yeah,
but they're back.
Oh, they're back.
Right.
There's a lot of them.
I want to know your theory though. I got a very good friend of mine, Andy Boyce, who says, and he wrote a very good article in Marlin Magazine recently about this to address the issue. He's kind of the school of thought that they never left; they just changed their pattern, and then now it's just patterned back. So I was just curious to get your thoughts on that, as someone who has reputation in that region.
I think that just whatever changes the water temperature.
Okay.
I think that pushes them around a little bit, and I think that some of the paratrawling, like in the Great South Channel, I think that when you take that biomass away, which has happened, and you take those herring out of the picture, there were a lot of fish that would go to that Great South Channel area, and then from there disperse out again, and then come back for that herring spawn, and that was a very big deal. It was a big body of fish. There was a big body of fish in Central Mass Bay, in the central area of the whole New England, and that biomass got hit pretty hard.
Okay.
Gotta have food.
You gotta have food. And I think it's probably not as
Yeah,
complicated as a lot of people want to make it. I think that obviously
they're overthinking it.
I think they're overthinking it.
Okay.
I think that
Yeah, I think that's where Andy's coming from too.
Right.
Basically he's saying you're overthinking it. It probably could just be something as simple as that.
And
also everything in nature is cyclical.
Sure.
I don't care what anyone says.
Sure.
Yeah, that's an agreeable thing on this show.
It was last year, so
we talked about that how many times for sure.
Yeah.
So I fished for the past 3 years. I fished in Cape Cod with a buddy of mine, Brett Wilson. I fished up there on his charter boat. Because COVID, we couldn't get into Canada. Those guests couldn't get up there and all. So I took guests in Cape Cod. There were so many bunker that came up on the beach.
Right.
I mean, it was like because they didn't catch. The theory there was that they didn't catch them, down below.
On the gill nets, yeah.
Because of COVID, or the seiners didn't get them because of COVID, and so these fish kept on coming.
They took a break.
And it was, my God, man, we caught fish like crazy, and it was easy.
Yeah.
And there was bait, there was bunker. I mean, it was all you wanted. So
now it seems the fishery's doing really, really well, though.
Fishery's doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and bait is always a thing, I mean, and I don't want to speak out of school. I'm not tuned up on all of it right now for a real interview, but the bait thing, you got to be careful with it.
I got news for you. This is not a real interview.
No, but you know what I'm saying. The bait thing.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, bait.
No, you know what I mean.
No, bait's key.
I do not have a list of questions here. I'm not plugging with things, and we're just having a talk.
No, but listen, think about any fishery that we know, offshore fishery, is always dependent on bait. Look at the striped bass, right? The migration of striped bass and everything. menhaden is and bunker is the key to
It's
life.
all about the bait, right? I mean, like let's take this. Let's put this in the micro scale, okay? So this past weekend was Thanksgiving. I got my brother in town. Spur of the moment, he says, "Let's go fishing." I'm like, "All right, well, let's go grab the bass rods. I got a few good spots out here. Right, we'll head to Coral Springs or whatever. Like, we'll catch some peacocks, right? Because everyone loves that. It's always a fun thing to do. So let's go have fun in the morning, right? Crack of dawn, wake up. I'll come pick you up at Mom's house, and we'll go.
That's cool.
Grab some peacocks, and that's what we did. He walks. It was okay. We saw a few. We were spot fishing for him and everything like that. And we got a couple peacocks.
Well, according to Bouncer, you are the peacock.
No, Bassmaster. Bassmaster.
You are
not
the Bassmaster,
not
right.
the peacock. I am the Bassmaster.
The Bassmaster.
But I call myself Little Bassmaster because every bass I catch is under a pound. I'll catch 1,000 of them, but they're all like 12-ounce bass.
Oh boy!
Right.
You're a little bass hole.
You're a little bass hole. There you go. That's perfect. Cheers. Right there. Oh, I love it.
Oh,
I love it.
Lord.
So anyway, but he walks away. He goes, really, you don't, with the snakeheads and everything, like you didn't see a lot of bait around, didn't see a lot of, and that was a very good observation because he was right, and that could have been why we didn't really convert on so many of them. But baits always matters.
Bait matters.
No matter what fishery you're talking about.
No matter what fishery.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple.
In
gig.
Isla, in our spring fishery in Isla, if the bait's not inshore, you got to get on the bait.
You got to get on the bait. You got to find the bait, or at least know where it is, and then figure out where the fish are in proximity to it, or how they're acting to it.
And we're talking all the time, and like, did you find it? Oh yeah, I'm in here. Oh yeah, that's where you got to go look, and it's it's here, and got it. There he is. There, it's predictable if you're on the bait.
So I'm going to ask a question here. All right, and I've likely asked you this before, and I likely, but you're a very close friend of mine. I already probably know, right? And to set this up, and just to give people a little context, Anthony here, Karl tells me you must have caught over 10,000 bluefin tuna, right?
That's a lot of bluefin
might
tuna.
be a little bit of an embellishment.
Sales.
Tons of giants, maybe you said, right?
Yeah, lots of giants.
Okay,
just in spite of myself.
We'll figure 100 a year for 10 years. That's
embellishment's the cornerstone of any good story, right?
Like 2,000.
Yeah.
2,000 bluefin. It's a lot of bluefin.
Yeah. It's a lot of bluefin.
It's a lot of bluefin.
But I got lucky. I worked for some really good guys.
That's great.
But sales,
more.
Big numbers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my point is, you've been around the block, right? Okay. What originally got you fishing? What originally kept you fishing? What still keeps you fishing today?
Since the moment I could grab a fishing rod or a net or a clam rake, I absolutely had to get them.
What is it about catching a fish?
I have no idea. I mean, I dammed off the brook behind my house to catch every trout in it.
This past weekend. This past weekend, I'm staring at this freaking peacock. I'm staring at this peacock sitting under and I'm just trying to every which way to Sunday. And I'm just like, why won't you bite this freaking lure? The whole thing. And I'm just like, what is it about this that just? What is it?
It's the only other thing that you pursue relentlessly that you can't take its clothes off. Right?
Yes.
I
mean,
it's the same kind of deal.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's the chase. Maybe it's the whole gig. I don't know, man.
So you started out
since I was a little kid, I couldn't get enough of it. Like having a lure, just dreaming about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, every day till today.
There's like a romantic thing about it.
There
is a romantic thing about it.
Lures and sold lures. I mean, I have some Anthony's lures that he made. I mean, he was into it.
This is part of the Connected by Water search. This question I'm asking.
When Anthony
these are things I want to have the answers to before I die.
Do you know what a big buck will do in the rut and everything? When Anthony's driving his boat, he's got the lip curl going.
Oh, I love it. I love it, and I like all of it. I'm going from here to this boat that we just bought. I'm going up there to go grind on the bottom and fiberglass and paint, and we're putting a new motor in it.
Right.
I mean, all of it. I
What
love.
boat did you just buy?
So
Yeah, talk about the fleet because
Yeah.
we got 4. He's got 4 boats going on. It's
Okay.
quite an endeavor. It's
yeah,
4 boats.
yeah, and then I for the past 13 years I've had a private job that I take care of a gentleman's boat from Houston, and we just got a new boat. We just acquired the one of the Revenge boats,
Okay.
so we got a 55 Revenge as well, which is
Wow,
pretty
55
cool.
Revenge.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. I was a mate on it for a long time.
Really?
Yeah, now I get to drive it around. It's
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty neat feeling. It's like a time machine. I
So what are you doing
feel
to
like
the
I'm
boat?
25, but I hurt a little bit.
yeah, right.
Yeah. That I was actually having a conversation with someone recently that, well, because I'm 48 now, right? Old enough to be able to say this statement, right? Where I still feel like I'm 25 in my head. And I try to explain this to people that are 25. I'm like, listen, mother effer, you don't realize that my mindset is still the same as yours.
Yeah.
But I just heard a little bit more.
That's
you know what I mean? And maybe I've had a little experience things happen every now and then that maybe make me a little wiser. But in my head, I'm still 25.
That's right.
So don't think that we're thinking differently here, because I know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Well,
It's true.
it is true.
I don't know.
The biggest enemy right now for me is arthritis. That's something.
Yeah.
Every morning I'm like, God damn.
Well, all I gotta say is every morning I wake up in the bed and I got to do my series of stretches before I can even get out of and roll. But
It's all good.
anyway, so how do you deal with that though, as professional captains? I mean, right?
Hey, tomorrow's another day. We're gonna
Right.
go catch them. They're gonna bite. They're gonna show up. Here we go. I mean, people ask me, like, God, you're so big. I'm the eternal optimist. I'm a fisherman.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, we didn't catch them today. It's all right. Tomorrow we're gonna get them. They're gonna come. They're gonna come. And I'm a troller, right? I love to troll.
Mhm.
I mean, I love live baiting, but I really love trolling. And people go, God,
I do too.
how do you do
I really
this?
do.
And I'm like, you know why? Because at any given moment, it's going to be absolute chaos. It's going to be incredible, and we're going to be on them. And holy crow, it's going to be incredible.
Yep.
Listen, Karl, I'm so happy you're bringing this up, because we have so many live baiters on the show just because of the area that we're in.
Yep.
Right, and we're constantly bringing in people from the area to sit at the table. And, they're, live bait, and it's fun. Right? It's great, you know what I mean? But I'm telling you, to this day, even if you tell me you're going to, like a 55-pound bull mahi hitting on the troll, and you just hear that reel scream, it's freaking awesome.
I'm all over that. Come on.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even just something as simple as how we all started out, right?
We're
You know what I mean?
We're hardcore dead baiters.
Yeah. I mean,
hardcore.
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the live baiting because that's what I have to do here. And listen, to go fishing, I don't care. What do I got to do?
Yeah. What's the difference?
Right? I don't care the methodology. I want to go, and I still have that drive. Like I just want to go. But if I could do anything, I would be plowing around, trolling, and looking, because it's a hunt.
A lot of guys. I think a lot of guys don't have the exposure to it. Is what I think. They have a live bait exposure.
Yeah.
And they don't have dead bait trolling exposure, like to fish off of Fort Pierce when they're biting.
Yeah.
I don't mean going to foreign countries where like you can knock them dead. Pretty much anybody.
Out your front door type stuff.
Yeah. Fishing up there in Stewart, fishing up there in Fort Pierce. You get up there and the white birds are on them, and you put your mess out, and here they come.
Mm-hmm.
And you're here. You're home.
One of the big things for me, I feel like, if I'm getting down to my roots of it all, is like, because I grew up here, but I really grew up fishing in the Keys, in Marathon, and that, like, we would spend our summers down there, and we had our place down there, and then, like, the school was out, we were down in Marathon, and when you're in school, you're not fishing as much, but in the summer, you got it all off, and we're down in the Keys all the time, and we're out there 25 miles off the hump and just trolling.
Yeah.
And that's really where I got my chops. It was more down there than here, to be honest with you. It's like, of course I fished out here, and even here in the 80s, you're still trolling.
Well, I mean,
you know what I mean, as a duffer,
trolling for bluefish and little, and what we call football bluefin tunas.
Sure.
2 feathers, 2 cedar
On a
plugs,
cedar plug.
let her rip.
Yeah.
And trolling, man.
If
We're hunting because it's hunting.
Yeah.
And you learn that, like, as a young kid, I can remember, like, watching, my dad and the captains I work for.
I think live baiting's
looking.
hunting too.
They're searching, they're looking to work on the surface, they're looking at everything, and it's a hunt. It's this, they're like, you watch guys that are avid hunters. Andy,
Andy's a hunter.
Guy's incredibly tactical in everything he does.
Those poor beasts.
And
when Andy walks
when
into
you
the biosphere.
Yeah, when you attack fishing like that, and that's the whole thing. And you're putting all these pieces together, right? You're constantly analyzing all day long, constantly.
Right.
What does the water look like? What's this? And it's that, to me. That's it's a mental game, and I like that.
Yeah, it's always neat. Something about making a bait swim right, and I still like that.
Yeah.
So
that's what keeps you coming back.
Yeah, putting a bait out and looking at it, knowing it's swimming right, and that all cattywapped and doing something weird, and.
Yeah,
the people that listen. I mean, the people that you bring in aboard with you and that you go over the years. Like, I guess my question when I say that is, like, at the end of the year, or at the end of the year, at the end of the day, you're looking at this from an experience standpoint, right? And after we've discussed all these things tonight, I'm looking at this. You have a myriad of experiences that you can kind of go off on.
Sure.
Right, that just kind of really just make you feel warm and fuzzy and all that, right? I mean, and I'm sure you got these more experiences ahead of you, and it's got to be what brings you back to it. It was just trying to, like, re-grasp that. I mean, you think about the fish we talk about on some of these episodes, like the one that got away, right? Everyone's got their one that got away, right? What's your one that got away?
The one?
Yeah.
No.
Wait a second.
The one.
I lost one once, but I'll have to think about it.
No, you got a one that got away?
No.
No?
No.
No. The first person I asked that said no.
That's a hateful story.
I don't
want to talk about
story.
that. That's a terrible.
So you do.
Yeah.
Everybody does.
Everybody does.
But there's more than one.
Yeah.
There's always more than one.
Oh, I know.
Tell me one.
Tell you one. Fishing with Stuart Campbell in Madeira. And he let me try to hook one, and I thought, oh, this is going to be a slam dunk. Oh, shit. That wasn't so good. Barky's up there on the loudspeaker, and I got the rod in my hand, and this thing comes up. He's like 700 pounds. Wasn't big enough for Stuart to try him on 30. So he's like, all right, just you take him. I'm like, oh, my God. Cool. Slam dunk, right? I whiffed him. He jumped right at the boat, and I'm like, oh, my God. And bait goes flying out, and I am just mortified. I lost this sea monster.
I have one that I remember when he and I were fishing together. So the tuners are biting.
Big blue marlin.
Big blue?
Yeah, big slammer blue one coming in.
Yeah. Tuners are biting.
It was in Portugal.
And we had to leave to go fish a tournament in Montauk.
Oh, I know this one. This is a good one. This is a good one.
We are already.
We're
like our lips hanging down because we're leaving the tuna bite, and we're like, we're going to Montauk
Against your better judgment.
to go fish an offshore canyon tournament.
Never leave them biting, right?
Man, we're just like.
And
so we leave Gloucester, go up to Paid Narum, switch out tackle, go through this whole big deal.
And this whole thing, I don't know diddly about catching a blue one, hardly, right? I mean,
okay.
Don't count on me. Right?
Not your fish.
And I told him, I'm like, look, man, you're in charge of this disaster because this.
So you're leaving biting tunas to go catch blue marlin?
Yeah.
We
had to do it.
We had to do it. The boss was, had the steal. So anyway, we get to Montauk.
You had to do it because the boss said so.
Yeah, well, he was like entrapped with some business stuff that he said that he would be there, and it was part of this deal. So we go down. We get there. There's like 12 or 15 boats fishing it, maybe not even. It wasn't big. Anyway,
whatever.
Big deal. Blows in northeast. Here comes northeast screamer. Just, So
in that little boat.
We're in the 42, and anyway, I think we pushed back a day to Montauk. We came down from Gloucester, went to Paid Narum up in Mass, and traded out gear. We had to go to the house and swap out and get marlin gear and get our lures and get all this stuff because we had
to go back inshore.
We had nothing. We go around. We get to Montauk, And we, finally first day of fishing, it's still it is nasty. It's rough as a cob, and we're going to, I guess, Atlantis. I don't know what canyon, whatever.
No, somewhere far away,
somewhere
a
far
zillion
away.
miles offshore, middle of the ocean.
Middle of the
Who
ocean.
cares?
It's not like 2 miles off.
we're just
No,
like-
man, out there in hell and gone.
We're
like,
just like, what are we doing?
yeah,
we left the tunas
in this boat that should not be
Yeah.
100 miles
Yeah.
offshore, and we're
Right.
out there doing this.
It's nasty. And he's got this guest with him, this lady lawyer and everything, and and it's just the water's flying and
All we got to do is catch a fish.
a fish, and we're gonna win.
Anybody catches anything, they're gonna win. Okay.
We put our stuff out. Nobody's seen anything. It's anyway.
Singing songs,
We get a bite.
heads in buckets,
We got
singing.
we got them on. I mean,
Big,
we
big
got
blue marlin.
nice. I mean, a nice one,
The greyhounded.
like a really nice one.
Like right tagline.
Right tagline. And I'm going, yeah, we're on, and we're on. We're on. Wink's going, we're on, we're on. So he and I, we start clearing, and the boss goes over, and this does what an excited person will do. Free spools.
Put it in free spool.
The boss did it.
Zing pow!
Backlash as big as like this, like a beach ball.
We're like,
Howie didn't lose a finger or a nose or a lip.
Yeah. Anyway,
So he just independently just went over and
yes.
just,
Well, I mean, he just made it. He got an excited deal, and right.
He didn't have a lot of lure experience.
None.
He didn't realize we had him on. He
None.
thought we had to feed him.
Yeah.
And, we're fishing with heavy tackle. Even though we've got light tackle, there's still like
this thing is
big
running
80s.
like a.
Yeah, it was big, heavy 80s.
It was.
Anyway, he, obviously,
This
he,
thing,
he
but it
felt
sounds
terrible.
like this thing was just running like a bull that got its
No,
balls
it,
just
no,
flicked.
it was a nice one. I mean, no, it would have we would have whacked it and taken it into Montauk, and it would have been
Heroes.
we would have won and we would have been cool.
Yeah, we would
Right.
cool. We would have been at Lia's Saloon hanging out.
That's telling stories.
Hey, come
Hey,
on over, buy us a
boy,
drink
drinks
over
on me.
Come on over, buy us a drink over here.
Man.
It would have been funny as shit. But anyway, anyway, that happens.
It wasn't.
And that didn't happen, and I will remember that forever. And I felt so bad for Haven, right? I was just like, the poor guy. Like, that was would have been his fish of a lifetime,
Oh, yeah.
and
Right.
it would have been a nice payday for us. We're sitting there, we're like, whew, Calcutta money, like, come on. Anyway, that's how the story
So
goes.
is
That's
that
how
is
the
it-
story goes.
So that's the one that got away for
One of
the
them.
boat.
That's
one
yeah,
of them
That's
on
one
that boat.
Yeah.
Right. And you told me your
That day.
your
That day.
your Campbell one that got away.
That one.
Is that your? That's the one that really burned your
Nah,
ass.
but pretty well burns my ass.
Yeah.
Oh no, I got a lot that burn my ass. I got to think about.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Karl, because this sounds like to me that last one was
That was a long
Haven's
time ago.
fish that got away.
Well, it was ours too, because there was
No.
there was, dollars attached
I
to
got
it.
I got it.
Oh, if I had thought he was going to free spool it, I would have tripped him.
Yeah.
Make
No,
no,
no.
mistake about it.
I would have stood there and pretended, hold on, not yet. This is lure fishing. Don't
Yeah.
come near this until we tell you to.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah,
when
we
you're
didn't-
lure fishing, like,
He says
let
sounds
everything
like he
settle
raced to
down.
that thing.
Yeah,
Let
we
everything-
didn't
and
see
then,
that coming.
And then we're going to coach you to get to the chair, because you just back off lightly, and we're going to get you over to the chair, get you in. Okay, now we settle everything down, and now we go catch him. And he was hooked. I mean, he was hooked.
And Haven is one of the coolest dudes you ever want to meet.
No
Gentleman, coolest
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. It doesn't sound like I mean,
just a super
Great
guy.
guy. Great guy. We had so much fun with
Listen,
He
him.
could have cried.
Listen,
Yeah,
I
he
don't
could've
think
cried.
I really don't think you can really kind of pass judgment on
No.
people's angling skills.
We had
I
so
mean,
much
yeah.
fun with him all the time. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was the one that I remember with Anthony.
It's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. There's all kinds.
There's all kinds.
There's
you
all
can
kinds.
lose them every which way
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah, I remember one eating a spreader bar with Wink, and I didn't crank, and he sucked the rig under, and I can see it. And we were off a main. We hadn't had any bites, and we finally got on him a little bit, and he boom boils, the rig goes down, I cranked it up, boom, and then the last time I got nervous and I didn't crank, and it stayed under, and he boogered off. I was like, oh,
Gone.
gone.
You got to remember always too. There's an old saying my dad always said that this German captain from Beach Haven used to say, Max Schoenberg, they're not nailed on, they're just hooked on.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Can't you it happens, right? And
so just another analogy of how fishing is just like women.
Next, yeah.
Is it turn that frown around?
Yeah, sort of. You nail them, but you can't keep them.
They're just hooked on, buddy. You still got to work for it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Listen, guys. Muchas gracias.
Well,
for tonight.
It's fun.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've enjoyed talking with you guys big time.
Great to have
really good.
This has been Karl, thanks for introducing me to Anthony. This has been a really just a pleasant, unexpected surprise tonight. So, thanks for hooking us one up, and and Anthony, thanks for rushing here right from your flight and coming in and.
Hope I get to see you again. It's good fun.
Talking fishing with us.
Yeah,
and,
talking good
and
stuff.
hanging out, and this is what we do.
Fishkeenem.com.
Right?
Okay. Go to Isla Mujeres.
Yep.
Look for the Keenem, KEENM.com. You'll be entertained. You'll have a great time. They will take care of everything for you. They have the hotels, the restaurants, the boat, the whole deal.
One-stop shop.
And they work so hard at it. It's a great family-run business, and I can't recommend it enough for folks that want to go down and have a safe time in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Go to a nice little island that has wonderful restaurants and a great personality and everything, and then
convenient. It's easy.
Where do you fly into?
Cancun.
Flying to Cancun.
I send a van to go pick you up. Yep. Van brings you to the ferry. You come right over to the island. You come to one of our hotels. Everybody that's coming, they usually come for 2 or 3 days. I try to, if they're fishing with me, even if they're not fishing with me, I try to go out of my way and meet everybody and talk to them or have dinner with them or drink.
Got to eat at Lily's.
What's the best time to come?
Man, from January till, June. That April-May fishing's great.
April-May for me is like the time.
You want to go?
The time. Yeah, let's go.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
No, you gotta go get in the water with him. You really need to do that.
Yeah.
Let's get it on.
It's research and development for you.
All right,
you'll have a good time.
And you got to eat at Lily's Blue Ballyhoo. Check it out on Instagram. Blue Ballyhoo restaurant. It's incredible. She does an awesome job. I love her to death.
Anthony, it sounds like this is the beginning to a long-lasting friendship.
I hope so.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
Yeah, for sure.
Good.
For sure. So, thanks, guys.
Yeah, man.
This has been nice.
Always fun.
Been nice.
Fabulous.
Papa's Pilar Skull.
Well, see, so we've been drinking the Papa's Pilar.
We have
tonight. We've been drinking the sherry cask, and you do it over water, and I do it over my little coconutty pineapple-y thing that apparently Nick is now addicted to. I got him hooked on it. He keeps texting me. He's like, you created the monster. He keeps texting me. He's like, with the. I don't want to say the brand name of the coconut because that's a secret.
The coconut.
Remember, we do a coconutty pineapple-y thing with our sherry cask, and it just is absolute slice of heaven. So, Papa's Pilar, they remind you never to be a spectator. We give our love and respect to Frank Myatt here. We're going to dedicate this entire show to Frank Myatt.
Rest in peace.
And may he rest in peace. And we love the Myatt family dearly.
Brother Mike Myatt.
Yep, absolutely, we do. And we want to give a shout out to the Joey Cardi family, which they're just closing out their 92 Enclosed Bridge Viking. We just did an entire apparel package for them, and we're just happy to continually get the support from Joey Cardi Crusher.gpram. And once again, if you need anything as far as the vehicle goes, please just reach out to the Accardi family and just tell them that the Connected by Water podcast sent you over there. And we want to once more thank the Finor family for coming on and supporting this show. And I want to break it down by saying this. If you're looking for a company or a brand who knows what the F they're talking about and what they're doing when it comes to what you need when you're out on the water, and it's Dave. Mr.
They're on it.
I know what you need.
They're on it.
And I know how to do it. Right? So, Finor, listen, we don't back brands on this show that aren't completely legit or aren't completely representative of what we're doing here. And if this is episode 142, right? 142. And I think that we've done a pretty damn good job on this show of keeping it core,
Yep.
keeping it authentic, and bringing on the real deal players. Anthony is just one more example of that.
Yep.
Carl, you're a regular on the show,
Salt of the
right?
earth.
So you know everyone who listens to this shows they know who the hell you are. But I think that the Finor brand is just another example of just saying we know what we're doing.
Yep.
We know what the hell we're talking about. This is the eyewear for you if you are serious about what you're doing on the water.
Yep.
Right, and that's probably as plainly, as blatantly as I could put it.
They have style. They have the right lenses. They have all the different lenses for the different type conditions you're going to be in, and they execute well. And it's a storied brand that's been in sport fishing for.
There's
a long,
history
long
to it
time.
too.
Yeah. So
Listen, there's history, and I'm glad you brought that up. Listen, there's the history to the Papa's Pilar brand.
Yep.
Right. There's history to the Finor brand.
Yep.
Right. There's history to the Accardi brand. Eddie Accardi was bequeathed to Joey Accardi. It's a family brand. It's like generationally speaking, right?
Yep.
Okay. And I mean, I'm an artist for the United States Mint. I'm a freaking history buff. This is like there's history to that. So it's all encompassing. All about history. It's all about keeping tradition alive. We have apparel in the Connected by Water brand that says celebrate tradition. Tradition is something that we firmly believe in around here.
I'm not 100% sure, but
You might believe
I
it.
think that Ernest Hemingway fished a Tycoon Finor rod and reel or two in his
He
day,
did.
which would make Papa's Pilar and Finor one hell of a marriage.
Look at
because
that.
That started in the very beginning. Finor came out in 1933.
Sounds like it's all connected by water, my friend.
It's all connected by water.
All right. And I would like to also just give a shout out to our good friends at W Sauce, Baron Burton,
And
and
I
our
heard
good
a-
Brad.
I heard
And
a
their
little-
tradition is
little-
alive in this
a little
brand as
drip
well.
of that in the morning in your Bloody Mary is pretty incredible from what I understand.
That's a pretty good observation.
Yeah,
Pretty good observation.
I've heard that.
All right, listen. If you're in the neighborhood here in Lighthouse Point, stop by Papa's Raw Bar. Check out the Connected by Water inspired sushi menu. If you want really good fish in the area.
Yep.
And I think we're going to say thank you, gentlemen. Okay.
Oh,
Anthony.
Thank you.
This has been great.
It has been wonderful.
Thanks
Yes,
for bringing
sir.
the munchkins.
Skull.
Skull. Cheers. Right.
Here's at you. Thank you,
All right,
guys.
we're gonna end this how we always do. Your ego is not your amigo. Always do your best, and at the end of the day, just let God do the rest. And do not ever forget that no matter where we are, no matter what we're doing, we're all connected by water.
Connected by water.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.